Greetings, Roaring Fork School District students. This is Mr. Schneider from Glenwood Springs High School, and I know we've all been in this really odd, interesting time. We're all working in our bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, etc. I'm out in my camper a lot because this is a place where I can get away from my 4 kids who are doing their own schoolwork and all the chaos that is in our house. Of course, now today they're like doing some utility work outside. So if you hear like a jackhammer or something going on, that's what's going on. And yeah, like for me, I've hardly gotten out of my pajamas the last several weeks. So today I thought I would get dressed up for you, do my hair since I haven't really done my hair in weeks. And although I don't know that the wig really works because my 2-year-old, she started screaming when she saw it. I don't really like it either. So but yeah, I know we're in a difficult time here, but we're going to write an essay. And part of that essay writing is using an outline. Outlines are really key to help us formulate what we're going to do in our essay, help us do some planning. A lot of different ways to outline or pre-write or plan out your writing. It's really key. I and others would argue that you do some outlining. I know for us teachers, most any time that we see an essay that's just really missing the mark, usually if we ask the student, did you do an outline? They'll tell you, no, they did not. So it usually shows. I've actually done a fair bit of writing for different publications. And even right now I'm writing 2 different climbing guidebooks. And for me, I have to have an outline, some kind of idea of where I'm going. If I'm not sure, what I'm writing about, I often will ask my editor or publisher, get some insights from them about, what this needs to look like. And so today we're going to go through the essay starter outline that's provided for you on the DBQ assignment for the Arab Spring essay. So we're going to take a look at that. On with the Arab Spring is the essay starter outline. And so I'm going to walk through how to use that. There are some written instructions that are provided on that DBQ for how you can use this outline. And I'm just going to show you how you can use this and talk through it. So first, you're answering this question: what role did social media play in the Arab Spring? And one of the key ways that the essay starter outline can be helpful, I think, is by helping figure out how to answer that question. Often people will struggle just trying to figure out how to answer the question. So up here, you've got 3 possible answers, or I like to think of these as ideas, ideas of ways to answer this question. And so, this could be 1 body paragraph, this could be a second, this could be a 3rd body paragraph, or you could just write your whole essay about one of those ideas and probably make it work. You're all writing at least 1 body paragraph and up to 3 body paragraphs. And so it's up to you on how you construct that argument. But hopefully this gives you at least a start to some of those possible ways to answer the question, and particularly if you're struggling. Now notice, you might not like these at all. You might think all these answers are kind of trash and just not want to use them. So notice later there's a blank mini outline, and this is where you can type your own ideas. So if you got your own idea for how to answer it, then great. You type in your own idea for how to answer the question, and you can come up with your own thesis. I can't type this afternoon. And then find your own evidence to back up that thesis, and that's fine. But when you go back and look at the essay starter outline, if you're struggling to figure out how to write a thesis to answer the question, there's a couple sample thesis statements that speak to these answers here. One of the answers I really like is the idea of knowledge is power. This idea that in social media, there's some knowledge that is really empowering for people, and that there's evidence of that in the Arab Spring. And so here, this thesis really speaks to that answer. And then there's some evidence here that's been provided that would help answer that thesis. So you might take a look at these pieces of evidence. You might like them. You might like them both, or you might not like either one. And you can go back to your documents here and find your own evidence out of the documents that you think better speaks to that thesis, and that's fine. Notice that some of these just have one piece of evidence as an example, and hence you need to find the second. And a couple of these, we have two pieces of evidence already pulled out to try to help you out. With the analysis, we haven't really given you much analysis here. Analysis is really the most important part of your essay, so you really want to spend some time on it, several sentences. And so here we've given you a couple of thoughts about how to get that analysis started, but it's really up to you to come up with that analysis. Here, just take note that there's not everything you need on this essay starter outline. There's still some legwork that you need to do. For example, in this case, one sentence and particularly a question wouldn't be sufficient for analysis. So you're going to have to do your own work there to create that analysis. But maybe this will just help get you started is the hope. And the same thing with looking at the evidence. Here we've listed out some quotes from these documents, but it maybe doesn't have everything you need. Like, for example, it doesn't have the context or enough context. Like in this case, we need to know who Joshua Tucker is from document 13. So you'd have to go back to document 13 and just make sure you know that, oh, he's a professor of politics at NYU and et cetera, et cetera. And you'd also have to just consider what you need to provide for your reader to really understand what these pieces of evidence are about. With this blank mini outline, you can use this as well. One, you can type up here all you want, right? You can type up here and put in your analysis, and that's great. This is your outline. But what you can also do is you could say, well, I really like this answer. And so you could copy and paste it. You like knowledge is power. Maybe you like this first quote. That backed it up. But maybe you decide you want a different second piece of evidence. And so you decide to go up and I think this one kind of speaks to it. Maybe you decide to take a look at this piece of evidence. And you can use this blank outline down here to kind of build out your essay. So hopefully this will all help get you started with what you see here in the essay starter outline. You can use the blank outline to really maybe build out your essay the way that you want if you don't like all the ideas that are up here. So that's kind of how you can use this. Again, it's kind of a fill in the blank. It's kind of an idea generator, a way to hopefully help you give you some ideas of how to answer that question. Big thing here, I guess, is if you have any questions about outlining your essay, need some help with your writing, make sure you reach out to your teacher. But hopefully this helps give you a start for how you're going to write that essay.